Hello, welcome to Wheel of Wisdom, episode number 92. I am Anisha and I am a psychologist, an aligned life coach, and a certified mindfulness teacher. And I would love to know your name and which part of the world are you joining us from. And also, have you been here before or is this like your first time here? So yeah, once like in 1 or 2 minutes, we can begin with the live, which is going to involve a lot of fun and wisdom, where we spin the wheel, choose some numbers, and then do some readings. And before all of that, we are going to dive into a very special meditation today. Since you might know of Lionsgate portals. So today we are going to do a meditation around manifesting, a desire of yours. So, yeah, so let's get started. I can see that some people are present here, but since we don't have a lot of interaction in the comments, which is all right, I understand that you're doing, you might be doing something and watching the live side by side, so you cannot like, write. But you can always like tap the heart to let me know, and then we can begin with the live. Yeah, so your heart reminds me of your loving presence here. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Hmm. So, let's begin with the meditation for today. And as I mentioned, it is going to be about focusing on a desire of yours and, a lot more around manifesting and stuff like that. So, begin by coming into a comfortable position. You can either sit, stand, or lie down, whatever your body needs right now. And as you begin to settle into this position, if you feel safe, allow your eyes to close, or alternatively, you can choose to lower your gaze so you can look downward at the floor in order to limit any visual distraction. Allowing your hands to rest wherever they feel comfortable, your shoulders to drop, so dropping back your shoulders and making any other changes that you need to make in your posture to feel just a little bit more comfortable. And now, to begin this meditation, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Two more breaths like this. As you become more and more relaxed, allow your awareness to rest within your chest. So, becoming aware of your heart, feeling your heart beating with each passing moment. Not only this part of your body keeps you alive, but also it hold on to those desires and longings that make your life worth living, that gives you a reason to live. So invite into your awareness one such desire that feels meaningful to you at this point in your life. What is it that you want? Once you become clear about what is it that you really want, we are going to move with the meditation. This meditation is not about hoping for or wishing for it, but it is an invitation to become the person who naturally draws it in. So imagine yourself living a life where this desire has been fulfilled, where you have whatever it is that you wanted. So, noticing how it is impacting your life now that this desire has become a reality for you. What all is it allowing you to do? How it impacts the other areas of your life? How does it feels like to live a life where this desire is your reality? Noticing how it feels in your body, the calm, the confidence, ease, joy, gratitude, or simply the peace that it brings in your life. So let this feeling grow with each breath, expanding from your heart and filling your whole being. You are becoming that vessel, open, aligned, and ready. With each inhale, breathe in all those qualities that support your manifestation, whether it is trust, clarity, confidence, patience, or self love. And with every exhale, releasing any tension, doubt, or resistance that has been holding you back. So, breathing in the qualities of a person who would naturally attract whatever it is that you want, and breathe out any resistance or fear or doubt. And now silently repeat after me. I am ready to receive. I trust the process. My desires are unfolding in the perfect way. I am worthy of all I long for. What I desire me to. I don't chase, I align. Let these words settle deep into your subconscious, like seeds that you know with grow will grow with time and care. So, as we reach the end of this meditation, take a deep breath in through your nose, soaking in the effects of this practice, and breathe out, letting go of this practice, knowing that the seeds have already been sown and your subconscious and the universe are co creating whatever it is that you desire. So, whenever you feel ready, allow yourself to come back to your whole body. You can bring in small movements like wiggling your toes or your fingers. And finally, when you are ready, gently opening your eyes, coming back to the space around you. Welcome back. So, I see that some new people have joined us while we were meditating. So, I want to say to you a warm welcome to this space. And this is Wheel of Wisdom, episode number 92. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Anisha. I'm a psychologist, an aligned life coach, and a certified mindfulness meditation teacher. And we are just getting started with the live. So, there is a lot more that we are going to cover, which involves fun and wisdom. But before that, I would love to hear, how was the meditation for you if anyone did the meditation together with me? And if you don't feel like typing, you can always just press the heart somewhere here to let me know that the practice is resonating with you or resonated with you. RG says, thank you. Thank you, RG, for joining us. And I'm glad that you enjoyed the meditation. Jody says, beautiful meditation. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jody. I am glad that you enjoyed the meditation. And yeah, and if you like this particular meditation of mine or like simply the guidance and you are new to me, I invite you to check out more of my meditations because I already have around 45 free tracks on Insight Timer here and a lot more are coming. So in each of these lives, I have recorded these meditations and I have recorded around 80, like over 80 meditations so far. And I am now releasing them as a free meditation. So it is available for everyone. And yeah, a one meditation comes out every week. So if you don't want to miss that out, you can follow me to get notified about it. Matt says, great. Thank you. Thank you, Matt, for joining. And I am glad that you like the meditation. Jody says, I loved it. Oh, thank you, Jody. Yeah, so what I was aiming for in this meditation was, to shift our mindset from wanting or grasping onto these things and chasing after it to becoming the person itself, becoming that kind of a person who naturally attracts these things. So, if, for example, if we are a disciplined person, then we don't need to chase after like a good body or, like a good career. But if you are that kind of a person, the things that you desire would naturally come to you, that you would naturally, be doing those things. You would naturally be consistently doing those things if you are a disciplined person that would bring in more of that career success or fitness and stuff like that. So, yeah, and that is something that is in our control. Because you might have noticed that in the past, whatever goals that you achieved, when you achieved them, it was not just about achieving the goal, but by the end of it, by the time you were able to achieve them, you became a little bit of a different person. You growed with the journey of trying to achieve that goal. And that's what happens. That's what the natural process is. So, so we are just shifting the focus into what is in our control, which is becoming that person compared to the outcome, because it is not always in our control. And that's what I do in my work with my clients. So yeah, if you would like to explore that, you can check out my teacher profile on Insight Timer. And you can discover more about me and my offerings like here, in my profile, in my teacher profile. And now it is time to dive into some more fun and wisdom. Okay, so let me show you guys the wheel of wisdom. So, this is our wheel of wisdom, and this wheel contains the name of 31 books that have been chosen out of the many books that I've read in my own journey of self transformation, in the past 8 years. And what we do is that now that we are more open, we are more receptive, we spin this wheel so that the universe, God, source, spirit, whatever it is that you believe in, can choose a book for us. And what we do next from there is I ask you guys to choose, to give me some numbers. And then I randomly pick a number, and based on that, based on that number, we do a reading from that page. So as I was reading these books, I made notes of the insightful paragraphs or the transformative exercises from these books. So whatever number I choose, I go to that page number and read the highlighted section from that page. So yeah, so I'm going to take a sip of water and then we will dive into the wheel and spin the wheel to see what wants to come through for us today. What is the message that wants to reach us at this point in our life? Okay, so before we spin this wheel, I invite you guys to take a moment to bring to your mind, is there anything specific that is going on in your life regarding which you would like some guidance? So take a moment to think about it. Or if there is nothing specific, if there is no specific area that you would like to receive some clarity or direction, then you can simply set an intention that may I be open to receive some guidance for today. So once you think of something, you can let me know by pressing the heart somewhere here or around your comment, and then we can spin the wheel. Okay, so people have thought of something wonderful. Okay. Hmm. So hold that, whatever it is that you need guidance on in your mind, in the forefront of your mind, and we are going to spin this wheel. Okay, it is so interesting. So the book that came up, I think it is like inverted for you. So I'm going to read the name of the book that came for all of us. And it is the very same book that came up in our last session. And it goes wonderfully with the meditation that we just did. So yeah, it is like there are 31 books, but this book got selected again. So I'm wondering that there is something that really wants to come out from this book. So the name of the book is Super Attractor: Methods for Manifesting a Life Beyond Your Wildest Dreams by Gabrielle Bernstein. So let's see, I am just amazed at how perfectly aligned this book is with, you know, the special day of today as well as the meditation that we did. Okay, so give me a second to open the book and then we can dive in. So, in a moment from now, I am going to give you guys certain numbers and I am going to ask you guys to choose a number amongst them. Okay. Mhm. Okay. Yeah. And if you're joining this for the very first time, I want to let you know that I don't want you guys to rush at all. Instead, I want you guys to take your time and see which number are you feeling called to, and then mention that number in the comments. And I'm going to choose amongst the number that you guys mention. Okay. So I'm not going to choose the top one. That is not the criteria, but I'm going to tune into my intuition and choose a number amongst all of the comments that you guys mention and see what wants to come through. So choose a number between 25 to 145. So take your time. Okay, RG has given a number. Thank you, RG. And a very like auspicious number. Wonderful. And anyone who is joining us right now, who just joined us, I have invited all of you guys to choose a number between 25 to 145. And I'm going to choose a number randomly amongst your numbers and do a reading from that page from the book, which is Super Attractors. Okay, the whole name is, I forgot. Yeah. Methods for manifesting a life beyond your wildest dreams. Okay, so we have two numbers here. Thank you, Jody. And anyone else who want to, drop in a number, feel free to do so. Until then, I'm going to consider the two numbers that I have here today. Okay, so, hmm. So even though it was not the criteria to choose the top number, but I am still feeling called to the number 108 by RG. And I want to let you know that it doesn't matter whose number I choose actually. It's just to make it more fun because whatever message is going to come through is going to be for all of us. And why? It's because you are here. So you were meant to receive that message. You were meant to hear that. And let's see what wants to come through from page number 108. Thank you, RG, for choosing that number for all of us. Okay, so the author says the subheading is Your Higher Self. The author says, when we pray, we lift the veil of our fearful perceptions and welcome love. The guidance we receive through prayers presents itself in a number of ways, including a sense of knowing or an inner voice of intuition. At first, this inner voice may sound like a whisper, but the more you call on it, the easier it will be to hear. Ultimately, you will come to recognize this internal cheerleader as the voice of your higher self. Your higher self is always ready to speak up, but it must be given space to be heard. When you are bogged down by fear, controlling energy, and uncertainty, you are blocking your highest self. Here is a prayer that will help you align with the profound wisdom of your higher self. So the prayer is I surrender my fear and allow the voice of my higher self to guide me towards the highest good. Again, I surrender my fear and allow the highest self allow the voice of my highest self to guide me towards the highest good. So you can either use this exact prayer or you can just bring in your own words, whatever makes you feel resonated with this more. So let's see what else is there. Yeah, so the author says when you meditate, pray, and align with the energy of love, you are tuning in to your higher self. When you call an angel, spirit, God, or the love of the universe, you are asking to be guided back to your higher self. You are asking to remember the true essence of who you are. So, usually, when there is something going on in our lives, it feels like we are being surrounded by all those heavy black clouds of, fears, doubt, worries. What if this happens? What if this happens? If this happens, I don't want this to happen. I should not feel this way. And all of those clouds, just weigh heavy on us. And we are seeing is the negative about the situation. And it is not bad, like, just thinking about what might go wrong is not bad as such. But if we just only keep on thinking in that manner, it is going to take us down the spiral. So it is equally important to, shift our awareness and also bring in either you can shift your awareness to take in or to focus on more of the positives, or if you cannot notice anything that is going right in your life, or you feel like, there's nothing good in my life right now, then at least you can, use this prayer or something of that sort to become open to receive, whatever it is that wants to come through, to receive that guidance, to receive that message from whatever entity that you want it to come through, whether it is God, universe, higher self, spirit, angels, it doesn't matter. It's just you are open, you are receptive, and you are not fully blocked by that layer, by that heavy layer of the fears and worries and everything. But there is a part of you that is open to see that, to hear that. It's kind of like when all these fears and worries are shouting at you with a mic, very loud, very noisy. It is making you feel like really, really like you want to close your ears and you don't want to listen to the next thought that is going to come through in that difficult situation that you're going through. And amongst all these noise, there has been a voice. There has been like a whisper that was always there, but you were not able to hear it in all of that noise. So when we pray, when we intentionally, say this or open ourselves to, to tune, to just for a second, even to just tune into and to really hear, is there a wiser part of me? Is there a higher self that is not shouting, is whispering that maybe this is right, maybe go this way, or maybe this is going to help you grow. And what I love about this aspect of this prayer was that when the author says that, allow that voice to guide you towards the highest good. So it may not be what you want or what your mind think is the right thing, or what your mind wants, because your mind, to be honest, always wants the familiarity. So there is a saying that your mind is always going to choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. Again, your mind is always going to choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. And that's how our mind work. Our mind do not like that uncertainty. Jerry Joe says, say it loud, Alicia. Yeah, So your mind is always going to choose the familiar, no matter how painful it is, no matter how much it has not been serving you in your life, all the problems that it has been causing you, all the limitations that it has put on you, all the ways it has limited your life, your experience of life, and everything. But still, you don't want to go into the wild where you might find the treasure, where you might find even something better than whatever you have been looking for, whatever your mind think that you want. You might find something even better than that, but we resist because we fear, because our mind job is to make sure that we survive, not that we thrive. Our mechanism is not based on that. Jerry Joe says it's good to learn to keep looking. No, exactly. Right. Just to keep looking, to be open, and to be open that maybe what I think might not be what I truly want. Maybe there is some highest good. Maybe there is something else that is better for me that I don't even know about, that I have never imagined in my wildest dreams. And now, you might see why the title of this book perfectly fits, this whatever came through from this book. So I was wondering, we still have some time. So let's do one more reading, okay? Um, hmm. So would you guys like me to read from the same book, do another reading from the same book, or choose a different book, like spin the wheel again and choose a different book? So you guys can vote in the comments and I will do whatever you want. So same book or a different book? Today people are quiet, usually when I do my lives, there is a lot of interaction, which is okay. Quiet time is also nice because it allows us to really hear what is going on inside. So yeah, but I would still need at least one vote to decide should we go on with the same book or a different one? Okay, Jerry Joe says same book. Robert says it is early in the US. Oh yeah, I think because hmm, my usual time is like 3 hours later, but today I am going somewhere. So yeah, I decided to do it early. So yeah, I can relate. And that's why I am not, forcing any interaction much. I'm fine with you just, keeping your phone or your devices on the side and just listening to me while you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, even while you are just lying on your bed. Robert says same book. Okay, then we are going to do one with the same book. And again, I invite you guys for the same book to choose a number between 25 to 150. Okay, this time let's expand it. Yeah. So take your time to choose a number. See which number is coming up for you between 25 to 150. And okay, thank you, Robert, for choosing that number for all of us. And other people, you guys can also mention the number because I anyway choose a number randomly. Thank you, Lauren. And it's nice to see you here back again, Lauren. Thank you, Jerry Joe. Okay, so we have few numbers. Thank you, Dina. A lot of familiar faces and some new ones as well. I love having each and every one of you in this space. Okay, so let's see which number do I feel called to right now. Lauren says, "Good morning. It's wonderful being back." Yeah, I'm happy to have you, really. And everyone. So, yeah, I see some familiar faces like Dina, Jerry, Joe, and a lot of others. Okay, so let's see which number am I feeling called to? Hmm. Okay, so the number that before I mention the number, again, I want to remind you it doesn't matter whose number I choose, it's just for fun. Sometimes it, resonates more with that person, but the message, whatever message is going to come through whatever number I choose, is going to be for all of us because you are here, so you were meant to receive that message, okay? RG says, thank you for the read. You guys have a good rest of the day. Thank you, RG, for joining us. And since some of you might be leaving and some are joining, so before I mention the number, I let me just mention the next live in case you are interested in attending the next live. And if you are new to me, again, feel free to, follow me because I already have a lot of content that you can explore and see if anything resonates with you, and a lot more coming up, like 80 tracks that are in line to get published. So yeah, feel free to, follow me to get notified when those get released. Um, yeah, okay. And good morning, Sarah. Welcome. Happy to have you here. And we are going to do just the last reading for today. And in case anyone, in case there are a lot of new people, so I want to reintroduce myself. My name is Anisha, as you might be able to see somewhere on the screen. And I'm a psychologist, I'm an aligned life coach, and a certified mindfulness meditation teacher. And if you want to, if you're resonating with what we have covered so far and would like to explore more, you can always just go to my teacher profile and see what all I have there. I have a lot of I have 7 courses, 45 free tracks, 11 premium tracks, and like a lot of stuff. And if you would like to know more about me and all of my different offerings, you can always just read more about me in the in the teacher profile in the about section. And yeah, explore more of my offerings and stuff. Okay. So with that said, let's go to the reading. And anyone new that has joined, feel free to drop in a number and I will consider your number as well. Okay. So the number that I am feeling called to is 56. Thank you, Sarah, for mentioning the number as well. Okay, let me see again. I'm going to see 56 and 72. Okay, maybe if we have time, we will consider 72 because I am feeling called to that as well. Okay, so, hmm. So thank you, Lauren, for choosing that number for all of us. And let's see what wants to come through from page number 56. Um, let's see. Okay, so in this case, Lauren says, yes, thank you so much. You're always welcome, Lauren. Okay, so the first, there's a blog that the author talks about in this particular paragraph. And the block is believing in lack, or what is called as scarcity mindset. Okay. So the author says if you harbor feelings of not being enough or not having enough, you expand a lot of effort trying to prove to the world that you are enough. I'm sure some of you might be able to relate to that because I can relate to that to a very deeper level because that has been one of my limiting beliefs that I'm not good enough. And when you have that kind of a belief, when you do believe that I'm not good enough or I don't have enough, then we go around our lives trying to do things, trying to have more so that we can prove ourselves and the whole world otherwise that, see, I'm good enough or see, I have enough. So, so very, yeah, okay, so continuing with the reading. All that effort blocks the flow of the universe. When we spend our energy trying to prove ourselves to the world, we lose track of feeling good because we are trying so hard to feel good enough. So we lose track of the pleasant feelings in our life. We lose track of the beauty, of the love, of the joy in our life when we are always focusing on what do I lack? What do I lack in me? What do I lack in my home, in my life? So when we are focused on that, our focus automatically gets away from what what are all the joyous and beautiful and all of those wonderful feelings. So our attention shifts, right? And where our attention goes, our energy flows. Okay. And before I continue, if you are not sure like what limiting belief you might have, what is running your life? Just like I shared for you guys, that my belief is that I'm not good enough. That has been a belief. It is like very mellow now, but it was a very dominant belief in my life and it dictated my whole of the life. And that is the same thing that happens with everyone. Every one of us has learned a belief. Every one of us holds certain beliefs. It is not just one belief. There are certain beliefs that are stored in our subconscious that runs our life without us knowing. It determines the way you think, it determines the way you feel, the way you behave, and hence the results that you're going to get in your life. So like it rules your life in a way. So if you don't if you're not aware of your own beliefs, of those limiting beliefs, then I do have a resource for you guys. So I have like created this course where I included all the techniques and all the tools that you can use to uncover them, because sometimes um they feel scary. Like sometimes whenever you are trying to do something out of your comfort zone, you feel the scary feeling, but you don't know why. So if you want to actually shine a light at those monsters within you and see that they are not monsters actually, that is something, that is a very deeper shift that happens when we do the inner work, that we realize that all those fears or all those beliefs are actually not monsters and they're not as scary. They are actually like little versions of us who who somehow learned that especially like in the childhood. And when it's like the illusion vanishes when we shine the light of awareness. So if you have heard that awareness is the first step to change, then I would encourage you to actually use this course or any other resource, whatever you have, to uncover those beliefs rather than just living your life on autopilot or on a default network that you are not aware of. Jerry Joe says, I think not good enough is a seed planted inside by someone else. Takes time to see it. Exactly. So in this course, I have like a whole lesson that would actually help you figure out once you have the belief, it will help you figure out where, like, when did you start believing this way, you know? And when you realize that, you see that it is actually not, it is actually not me, So who I am was decided by someone else, you know? All the things that you assign to yourselves, they were never yours to begin with. They were taken by someone else. And when you have that realization, it is so freeing. Because the first time when I had that realization, I was in college and I remember I wrote all of my limiting beliefs in a diary and I literally burned them. And that felt freeing. It seems dramatic, but it really felt freeing to actually see like a visual image of that, like, just letting them burn away. Um, Jerry Joe says scary is usually seeing who planted it and maybe you love them, maybe. So, and okay, so on that, when you do realize that this person gave me this belief in a way, then some people get stuck here. So it is important to see, to not hold resentment against that person. Instead, to be able to see that whatever beliefs that that person gave to you was not that person's belief as well. That person also learned that from someone else, maybe his or her own caregiver, his or her own parents, his or her own teachers. So that's how this whole intergenerational thing has been going on. And we have the chance to put a stop on it by first becoming aware of it before we can do anything else. First we need to know what exactly is happening inside of us. Okay. So if you're interested, you can save this because yeah, I'm going to remove this from here after drinking some water. Okay. Yeah, so continuing with this. Yeah, so when we spend our energy trying to prove ourselves to the world, we lose track of feeling good because we are trying so hard to feel good enough. So your beliefs are dictating your life and you are not as much, becoming aware of the joy and the beauty and the love and all of those wonderful, aspects of your life. And then you believe that life is miserable and life is full of suffering. So there's this whole cycle that goes. Um, hmm. Okay, give me a second. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's the whole point that also gets repeat next. So, since I said I would do another reading from page number 72 that Sarah mentioned, and it is going to be our last reading for today. So, let's see what wants to come through from this page. Okay, so on this page, there is like an emotion guidance scale where different emotions are mentioned in an order. Okay. And the point is, from what I remember reading this book, is that we don't want to jump from the lowest level of emotion. For example, it is mentioned like fear or powerlessness or grief. So we don't want to jump that from that to directly joy. because it would be like a very major and extreme level jump. So we need to just shift it a little bit, a little at a time. Dina asked, what is the title of the book you're reading from? Dina, the book that we are reading from today is Super Attractive by Gabrielle Bernstein. And for all of you also, I mentioned like a summary of the life in my group Wonderful Beings. So I mentioned like a summary including the name of the book and the readings, all of it. Okay. So I will mention the scale there as well. So it is easier for you to see because even if I name all of the emotions, it would be just too many words and it would not make sense. So I would, mention that in the group. But I will share what the author says about using the scale. Okay. Lauren says, thank you for the title of the book. Yeah, like this book did aligned with really well with today. Dina says, thank you, Anisha. You're always welcome, Dina. So the author says, here is here is how I use the emotion scale. So the author gives an example of a little baseball player, Jack. So when he walked in the door, he was clearly in fear, desperation, grief, and powerlessness. I knew he might stay stuck there all day and possibly longer if he didn't have some guidance to get out. So I sat down with him, compassionately honored his emotions, and let him rant. I then gently guided him to reach for thoughts that lifted him up the scale just a bit. I said, how does all of this make you feel? He said, I feel bad because now I am the oldest person on my minor leagues team. In that moment, Jack's discomfort with being the oldest on the team moved him up to the scale, moved him up the scale to insecurity, guilt, or unworthiness. I said, I understand how you feel. I imagine you're mad. He replied, yes. Yes, I'm really mad because it's not fair. The kid who got picked is younger and smaller than me. The coaches didn't follow the rules. Jack had moved into jealousy, then zoomed right up to hatred and rage, and even into blame. So as I'm telling the story, the author is, showcasing how the author stayed with, I think, her child and helped him move up the scale a little bit at a time. So the lowest emotion is fear, grief, then above it is insecurity, guilt, unworthiness, then above it is jealousy. So one at a time, not jumping from like when a person is in grief or is feeling fearful, then we are not like, okay, look at all the wonderful things in your life. We are not like, just focus on the silver lining and stuff like that. So that is like, putting a positive silver paint over the picture, and it doesn't acknowledges the deeper level emotions. So we need to shift things one at a time, rather than just making a major leap from this to this, because that is quite unbelievable for your mind as well. So even with affirmations, so some people are like, if you believe that I am not good enough, and you jump directly to, oh, I am good enough, I am the most, impressive person that I know, or whatever it is, then it is not going to work because your mind would resist it. Your mind would be like, no, a moment before you were believing that, and now you are saying this to me, and it is going to resist even more. So we need to just shift that affirmation also just a little bit so it feels, okay. It feels okay for you. Like, I'm not good enough to, um, you know, some of the times I am able to do certain things, even if I'm not good enough for most of the times, but some of the times I'm able to do certain things. So just like this, shifting a little bit at a time, a little bit. It's like you, if you have heard the story of, like it sounds awful when you say it, but yeah, boiling the frog. So if you put a frog in the water and you turn the flame all the way up, then the frog is going to jump out and it is going to get out of this. But if you just try to, raise the temperature just a little bit at a time, just a little bit at a time, then the frog is going to get habituated and it is going to stay there in that, in that pot of water. And the same thing applies to us. We just need to, you know, uh, turn up the flame just a little bit at a time and not the intense one, the most intense one. Because then you're going to like, okay, no, 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 I'm not going to do that. So, yeah, so we need to like work with our mind, work with our brain rather than against it. So, yeah, that's what came up for me. And as I was reading these things, if anything else came up to you, feel free to share that in the comments. Okay. Hmm. I think I have got a little bit of cold. Huh. Okay. Yeah, so I guess that's it for this live. And I am so grateful for you guys' presence. And if you guys liked anything from this live, if you enjoyed the space or found anything of value, or just a reminder, just something that you really needed to hear. And if you would like to support me to keep this space alive, to keep showing up and doing these lives, then you can do so. You can support me by making a donation of whatever amount that you feels called to. So, and it is not like a compulsion or anything, or, um, I always say that again, the amount don't matter. So it's just the feeling beneath it. It's just the intention. So, yeah, so if you feel called to, you can support me. And if not, or if you're not able to, you can support me in other ways. Like you can listen to my content, leave a review. And yeah, and just follow me simply. So, yeah, these are also other ways that you can support me or stay connected with me. Because, yeah, I have like a lot of stuff that is going to come out very soon. So, again, I have a few meditations lined up. Okay, let me show you guys the recent meditation that got released and the ones that are going to come up in this series. So, the recent meditation that got released, I think day after tomorrow or something, was this. The name of this is Dear Eyes, Thank You. And similarly, another one from this is Dear Head, Thank You. So, this is basically, you can think of it as a self love series where we are, reconnecting with our body and letting it know that we appreciate it. Because all most of the times we don't pay attention to it until it stops functioning, or, you know, um, and when we pay attention to it, for example, our brain, we are like, we kind of hate it sometimes. So we need to remember that, yeah, this is a part of us that does so much for us. And that's what the series is for, to remind you, to reconnect you, and to offer healing to these parts that have maybe not attended in years. Robert says, thank you. Your ideas were helpful. And I played the Dear Eyes, thank you. Thank you, Robert. I am glad that, I'm grateful for your support, that you are checking out my content, because that is something that brings joy to me, to hear about your experience as to how you experience, how you feel about whatever it is that I've created. Okay. And if you would like, if you guys would like to explore more things from me, you can always just go to my teacher profile. Okay. And if you want to just read a little bit about me, like what I do, what I have, and everything, then you can go to this about section and, scroll all the way and see I'll read a little bit about me here and just, explore all the offerings or all the, gifts and everything that I have for you guys. So, yeah. Okay. So, thank you so much for your amazing presence, for the beautiful, wonderful interaction, and for all the lovely hearts. They always encourage me to keep going and keep speaking, in the lives. So, yeah, thank you for that. And I bow down to the divine within you all. Namaste. I will see you day after tomorrow. Um, yeah, let me put it here. You can join it. Okay, no, on 12th. Yeah. So, yeah, take care. Bye bye. Have a lovely, lovely day. Bye, Robert.